Kyle, out here with more space engineers, and as you can see, yes, once more we're on the ground. I know, space engineers, you're supposed to be in space, building spaceships, but you know what, we figured we'd do something a little bit different. We have the exploration enhancement mod installed, we have a bunch of the NPC mods, so we have defense stations, we have supply transports, and a bunch of other things that we were going to be interacting with this time around. But first, we have to get started. So let's go. Oh, right. So, we have just picked up some construction components and some computers. I have just landed on the planet, actually, and our lander is over there on the other side of the lake. But I wanted to make sure that we were getting some parts. We got lucky with this one because it has an antenna on it. What we're going to be doing is we'll be using some of this stuff in some of our builds, because, you know, why do anything the easy way? Before we get rid of that, let's get rid of the interior light first. And then this will allow us to pick up the reactor. Okay, and we want the button. Okay. So I'm not going to worry too much about breaking all of this stuff down, because we don't really need to. Grab a little bit of this stuff here. Okay, that's all light armor. I'm not going to worry about that. So, what we are doing is we have, crashed. Well, you can't say crashed. We actually have a atmospheric lander because we're using the exploration enhanced mod. That actually gives us a little bit more in the way of starting materials than what we would normally get. Well, I shouldn't. Let's actually say it gives us a different starting lander, and hopefully it's still there. So the landers are a little bit odd. Now I left it powered on, so in theory it should still be there, but there are cleanup scripts involved, and the cleanup scripts sometimes remove the temporary vehicles. So when you get to a planet, if you explore too far away without breaking the ship down first, you sometimes don't have a ship to come back to. I'm hoping... Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Your health is low.
Yep. Hey, it got us there a little bit faster. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hoof it back over. It looks like... Yeah, I can still see the lights. So either I wasn't gone long enough or I didn't go far enough away. But if you completely turn off like your power supply, it counts it as an unpowered grid, even if it has power in the storage system. So if you get more than, I want to say, like 2 kilometers, it'll remove your temporary ships. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. Looks like we have the sun coming up over there. Oh, that's the mod I forgot to install. Dang it. So there's actually... Oh, what the... Atmospheric frigate. Okay, that's rather horrifying. But yeah, so there's actually a mod that was released on the workshop, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks ago now, that uses absolute positioning in the game in relation to where you are from 00's location. So for those who don't know, all positioning in the game is based on an XYZ grid-based system, 00 being the absolute center of everything. So what it does is it's based on the direction and angle that you are looking to or away from 00. So you'll actually get north, south, east, and west. It's a really cool mod, and I wish I had loaded it, but we'll have it in here for the next episode because it's a mod that I really want to play around with. For those who don't know, I've been playing around with a lot of the navigational stuff, and I think those types of mods add a lot to the general game. So now we are in just a simple planetary lander. Actually, I'll back up just a little bit so that I can get in. That's the oxygen container. Where is our storage block? Storage block is right there. Now I do have a couple, like I said, I've got more than a couple of mods installed here. One of the mods that we have installed is actually the cargo blocks with the fill bars. So what you're going to see is under the, when you have these oriented so that the text label is at the top of the block, there's a small progress bar, as you can see here with a little bit of green in it, that shows you how full your cargo blocks are. Now I did that because I installed it because I want to be able to have a little bit more realism in the game. And if you had a cargo system, it would tell you, you know, you had too much crap in it without having to wait until you got to that point. So I want to be able to have a visual cargo indicator. So what we're going to do is we are going to turn that on for the half second that it needs to be on for. And the reason I am turning those things off is because oxygen generators are one of the things that just eat your power supply. So, now the problem that we run into, this thing has only vertical thrusters on it. So if we want to move it, we actually have to use the tipping, you know, basically use your directional motion by repositioning thrusters. Now, I was able to land this thing, and it took me, I don't know, probably a good half hour to get it over here and get it down. So I'm not planning on moving this thing again. What I will do though, is I think we're going to build something. I'm not sure what. Actually, let me see. Do I have... Oh, what am I looking for? I am looking for refineries. I do. Okay, so I have the jury rig mod in. Now, the jury rig mod introduces small grid assemblers and refineries. They're ridiculously cheap to make. The catch is that you can't tie them to inventory systems. They have an input on them, and if you want to do things like refine your minerals, you have to manually put your minerals into the thing in order to refine them. Now, it is also slower than a normal refinery, but the catch is that they can be put on small grids, and that's what we're actually going to do. Is I'm probably going to break most of this down to make a small grid, probably a Range Rover of some kind, just so that we can get around the planet a little bit and basically have a bit more of a mobile base. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead, let's head back here, because as you can see we've got a lot of parts, right? We've got a med bay, we've got solar panels. Actually, can I make... Oh, I didn't install Mr. Coffee. That's bad. Alright, so let's see what medical options we have. Okay, so the medical station. Now these, I think the full size, the small ship version of this one can be used as a spawner, but the small station cannot. So we're gonna end up using that, I think, because I think that's a little bit cheaper. That's significantly cheaper. Okay, yeah. So we'll make we're gonna make a vehicle with a large cargo container on it, I think, and hopefully be able to put the solar panels on it, put a couple of batteries on it. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and get some started on this, and I think that's okay. So we'll leave that like that for now. I want to be careful with what I take apart because things are just kind of, yeah, stuck to this thing. So we do have an oxygen generator. We've got the cockpit, and how many? We've got 4 plates, okay. And since we don't need all of the plates for the regular refinery that we are, since we're going to use the jury rigged refinery, we're going to grab some plates. Okay, so if that's where do you have the plates? because aha, there we go. It's in another cargo container. We're sorry, Panda. Your your plates are in another cargo container. All right, so let's go ahead and grab only 100 of those. It's nice to see that we actually have this stuff around. And is there? Let's see, reactors, ejectors, motors, large steel tubes, interior plates. So we don't have enough interior plates. But if we make the assembler and refineries, the jury-rigged versions, we'll be able to have the ability to make them. Okay. Nice. So what we're going to do here is we're going to change up a little bit of this. As I said, you can tell we've got a lot of different things installed. Right, we're going to move you over here just a little bit. Awesome. Right. Let's go ahead and get this started. That's 1, 2, 3. So our platform is going to be at that height, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Alright, so, and I want this to be at least 5 wide. And we are going to say, what is that? That's 4. Go ahead and turn that off so we're not wasting it. There we go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 15 should be hopefully enough room. Actually, let's go. What's our medium cargo look like? How big is that? So that's 10 interior plates, so 30 interior plates. I don't remember how many this is for the small. Large cargo is 75, so we should actually have the materials for that. And okay. We want this to be accessible. Oh, I need an interior plate. Dang it! We've got enough interior plates. I'm not too worried about this. Because like I said, anything that we use plates for that we end up needing more plates, we always have the option with the portable or the jury-rigged cargo or jury-rigged refineries and assemblers to come back and build more parts. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is I think we're going to go ahead and do a time lapse on this so you can see the overall build as we progress. And yeah, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're back. So, we have the beginnings of a vehicle. And you know what? Everything over here is pretty much done at this point, other than the grinding stuff down. Fortunately, that does mean we're going to lose some power cells. No, we don't lose power cells. Oh, I think one of the mods I have, I don't want to say fixes it, but let's say alters that behavior. That is rather awesome. Okay. I don't feel quite so bad about breaking these down. Now, for those who don't know, back in the day, Space Engineers used to give you battery components back, or the power components back, when you would grind batteries down. But what they did is, because you get a little bit of power out of the battery when you build it, well, normally you get a little bit of power out of the battery, you don't get the components back. So it was basically a way to keep you from exploiting a little bit, where you could build a bunch of batteries and keep grinding them down and have one battery on recharge, and basically you would just grind and rebuild the battery, so you'd get power out of it, and we'd be able to charge one battery, and you'd just rinse and repeat all the way down the line until you had all the batteries, and you grind the last battery down that you didn't need. So yeah, advanced user tactics in this game. Thankfully, most of those things won't work. Well, I shouldn't say thankfully, but you know, depending on your point of view, thankfully those old exploits don't really work anymore. But again, you know, it just depends on how you want to play. There are mods, as you can see, that have reinstated some of that behavior. I don't know which one. I think it's the compact battery mod that might be, or it might have changed that for my playthrough. But it's good to know either way. Alright, so let's go ahead and grind the last little bit of this down. Alright, and then we have 6 wheels we need to finish. Let's go ahead and throw all of that in there for right this second. We're going to go grab our wheels again. Well, actually, I could just turn Bob on. And yes, I did install Bob because I want to make sure that we have everything welded up. And I just, you know, don't like piecing everything together all the time, so. Alright, so, come here, Bob. Let's see, oh, I forgot. Yeah, he's gonna weld all this stuff together. Alright, so I'm gonna let Bob do his thing. I do think we're probably gonna go ahead and call this one here. Let me give you a quick tour of what we've got going on. So we have our large cargo container back there, so with Bob attached, obviously. Now I put Bob on the back end of this because then I can put a connector on Bob, so we can, once we have a base to set up to or hook up to, we'll be able to onload and offload resources. We have the refinery, we have an assembler, and then we have obviously the batteries and solar panels. Hopefully we will be able to get enough of a charge on the batteries here in the near future that we'll be able to actually go do things other than sit here and wait for the batteries to charge more. But, you know, it's what it is, right? Oh, okay. So once the wheels are done, looks like it's prioritizing the armor right now, which is fine, because I'm not planning on going anywhere until the entire frame is done anyway. But yeah. We need to get, let's see, we still need to get a sensor on this thing. I want to get an O2 generator on here so that we can recharge our oxygen. Actually, let's go ahead and do that while we are thinking about it, because we want to make sure we have the materials for that. And put this thing. Kind of thinking it might almost be worth rotating this whole thing. But I guess we could... It's a shame that this doesn't tie into networks. That would be a little cheaty though. I guess I could put it on this side. Have piping run down to the side, maybe? Or even have piping run underneath. That could be a thing. Oh no, because it's all good there. Of course, what we could do, we run piping down the middle. We take the assembler out and move that off to one side, maybe. And then basically we have the piping come out on the other side and pipe into the cockpit. Actually kind of liking that idea. Because we still need to figure out where we're going to put the O2 generator. But what I'm thinking... I'm trying to remember if it let me do... Let's try this really quick. Like a small conveyor. We want 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. Okay. Now, if we drop that down one instead. So let's do this. Whoa, hello, wrong one. Right. If we do that, and then I guess we could just go like that. I'm kind of curious to see if this will actually pull parts out. Because if we can get that to pull ice, did you pull ice? Oh, you will pull ice through there. Okay, that is rather awesome. Okay, so if that pulls ice through there, then that means we can go something like this. Oh, I need interior plates. Dang it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this basically just go like that. See? And then we grab our jury rig assembler and we put... Oh, it's because of that. That ends up taking a little bit more room than I wanted. How does the other side work? That is pretty much where I want that to be. Okay. I mean, I guess I could... Okay, so I need to figure out... I'm guessing what we'll do then is let's take this thing up and over it instead. No, don't want you. I want you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this go up. Put you there. See? We'll make this work. You go like that. That. And like that. Okay, I think we actually have the most of a actual vehicle now. Alright, so that actually worked out a little bit better than I was expecting. A little asymmetrical. You know, we've got... Obviously we have things in here that we can use. We can get into the assembler, we can get into the refinery. I don't know if I can get into the refinery from down here. But yeah, I think that's going to work for us. Okay. So now the most important aspect of the whole thing. Oh. And we want to have all of our wheels to have very strong suspension. Now the reason, well, we want a little bit of give in there. Let's go 75%. And the reason we want to do this is because I'm getting, oh yeah, ah crap. All right, we're gonna turn off our parking brake, or off our landing gear. All right, and we'll need to adjust those, which is fine. There you go. And it sits pretty flat. Okay. Awesome. Did they ever fix... So our batteries are charging. Let's go ahead and set our batteries into a group. And we don't want to see these in the terminal, but we do want to see them in the config. Hey, look at that. We're mobile. Alright, so one of the things that we're going to have to do, obviously, is to turn off some of our additional steering. But yeah, we've got ourselves a little rover. And I am going to see about... Can we get this? Man, you're a zippy little thing, aren't you? It's you. Alright. So, I think that's going to do it for us here today. I want to thank you all for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit those like buttons. If you have any questions or comments, throw them down in the section below. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Alright, so I think we're going to need to get some defenses on this thing, get a scanner on it so we can find some resources, and then we should be good to go. Oh yeah.